Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Bullpen Banter. Zach here with Evan and Christian. Ian not with us today, but he's here in spirit. Almost opening day. We're just about there. The chains are breaking free. We're coming out of jail of the winter season. Baseball is here. Opening day rosters are announced. Baltimore's coming to town. You can almost taste the loony dogs. Gentlemen, we've made it.
Man, golden grapefruit, eh? Who would have thought?
It's totally real. Totally real. Man, shout out to Keegan Matheson for completely creating this out of nowhere, and it spread like a wildfire. Even the player, he tweeted that the players were asking about it. So shout out to him for the meme of the spring.
I think it's probably the most important accomplishment the team's had in like the last 5 years. So.
Oh, the tweets on the topic are outrageous. Like the Jordan meme, like all of it, bro. It's the grapefruits north of the border. Celebrate like it's 93. Like, let's go.
They're what, 11-1 at TD in the spring? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
11-1 before the last weekend. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Could have prayed for time like this, man. Yeah, no, it's I'm hoping we get a parade going before the season starts. Maybe on Wednesday before opening day. But
should down.
No, that's
we should run it right down into the stadium.
I'm down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's worth it. Good for the team. Good for the boys. Golden grapefruit.
So what are your guys' initial thoughts on the opening day roster? I mean, Alan Roden from Creighton Blue Jays to the Toronto Blue Jays. That's the story of the spring for sure. But man, just unreal that he cracked the roster finally at 27.
I definitely think he was the right man to win that job. Yeah, no, he was fantastic in spring. Like he's been raking at every single minor league level that he's played in, and he's had that proper raw tools. He actually has like perfect, he has MLB ready plate discipline, and just the bat to ball skills is just there. So I think he is definitely primed and ready to go to get that opening day job and get the bulk of playing time at left field. And yeah, he's earned it. He had a 916 OPS in AAA last season. And in this spring, he's had more walks than he has strikeouts. He had 6 walks to just 4 strikeouts. So yeah, like the bat to ball skills, and like he has that eye for the ball as well. So I think he definitely deserves it. I mean, it's tough to see Addison Barger get sent down. I mean, he's also deserving. It's definitely a good problem to have as well, because he has that power. He, like, every time he makes contact with the ball just flies. But unfortunately, only one had to make the opening day roster because at least one of them needs to get consistent playing time. But it's definitely a good problem to have.
Yeah, it sucks because Barger was absolutely raking, and he's like one of the more fun guys to watch, at least for me, especially after last year, just because, there's that untapped potential, right? And
he's got all the tools.
Man, it's so fun. But John Schneider said when it was yesterday with the rosters announced, like, with Roden making it, and then also Will Wagner, right? He's got Ernie and Will at third, right? And then Roden's in the corner outfield spots. And it's just like, for Barger, he needs to play a lot, right? You want him to play every day, and that's just not going to happen on the big club, right? So you send him down, have him play every day, and hopefully continue to develop, because fucking raked this spring.
I want to just correct myself. I sold Alan short. He's not 27. He's 25. He's a December baby. So sorry, Alan. I'm putting
That's
you
where
in
the comes from, in the December.
Yeah, but for playing time around the field, Barger is definitely one of those guys where he benefits from everyday at bats, and he's still young too. So go have those everyday opportunities down with Buffalo, and when an inevitable injury comes over the course of 162, I don't doubt that he'll be one of the first guys up. Speaking of playing time around the field, Davis Schneider cracked the roster. And with Jimenez coming in full-time second base, we're going to see him every day there. So it's going to be interesting where Davis does slot in. It'll be probably in a platoon role in left field, maybe giving some DH reps as well. But Davis is one of those guys where I also feel like he's streaky, and those streaky guys benefit from plenty of at bats. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles this new role.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be a lethal righty bat coming off the bench, and like you said, Zach, he could be that platoon bat for Rodon, and especially if he tends to struggle early in the season, then you could give those at bats to Schneider against a good lefty like Garrett Crochet, for example. But yeah, it's gonna be definitely a bit of an interesting role for Schneider because he's not gonna be getting much playing time at second, which he had in previous seasons. So there's definitely gonna be a lot for Schneider to prove his worth in staying in this roster, but I think that'll benefit him making the most out of his playing time whenever he gets those at bats, and he needs a clutch hit, perhaps coming off the bench and pitch hitting duties against a lefty and playing those matchups. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
How about those old guys in center field making the team, Miles Straw and Nathan Lucas? I was a bit surprised to see get them over Loperfido just because I like Loperfido and I want to see him play well. I think he's got the tools to be great, but with Varsho out, and I guess they see Loperfido more as a corner outfielder than a center fielder, even though he's pretty good with the glove. But you get Straw in there, who everyone thought he was going to be in Double A or something, but here we are. And
I mean, we're paying him money. We're paying him big time money now, so I mean, may as well.
Hockey when you have Miles Straw and then Nathan Lucas, right?
Yeah.
So those two guys manning center until Varsho can throw the ball again because he clearly can hit based off the spring. So,
oh, no offense to Miles, I'm sure he's a great guy, but that's probably the worst consolation prize you could offer up. But Straw is definitely going to give you a glove in center it's a good replacement for Varsho, especially. Yeah, absolutely. So I can see where Loperfido also benefits from those at bats we were referencing with Barger and Schneider beforehand. So it'll be interesting to see where the first injury comes, if it's in the outfield, if it's in the infield, who will be the first one up. I imagine Loperfido and Barger are right at the top of the list, and we'll definitely get a good dose of them this season.
I mean, that outfield in Buffalo is stacked. You have Loperfido, you have Barger, you have Clase, you have Baroa, and even you have guys like Will Robertson too, he's no slouch as well. So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they slot Barger down in AAA, if he's going to be taking reps mostly in the outfield or if he'll go
probably some right field and some third base maybe.
Yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye on as the season grows old. Let's move to the bullpen though. Definitely some interesting decisions made on that front, with Ryan Yarbrough having a thing in his deal, a clause, if you will, where if he didn't make the opening day roster, he could opt out and go for other options, which is what happened. The Jays ultimately decided to go elsewhere, and Christian called it. He texted our group chat and said he's packed his bags and he's in his car on the way to New York. And 2 hours later, what do you know? Or I think it was 12 hours later, but still, what do you know?
I have no sources.
But
I just saw that the Yankees bullpen was. Yeah, so I just thought the Yankees bullpen was pretty depleted, and I just made that joke to the boys in the group chat. I was like, yeah, this guy's probably on his way to Tampa, driving to the Yankees spring training complex and trying to let a gig over there because, the Yankees probably have like 10 pitching injuries right now before the season starts. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that that move to go with Jacob Barnes, who he's been the Jays in the past, and he wasn't exactly that good. He's just more of a journeyman. He's 34 years old, doesn't really provide much upside, but he's more of a like a soft contact guy. He didn't really pitch too well in spring training. Like nothing stood out. I honestly didn't think he was going to be a candidate to break camp with this team until like news came out that he still had a chance to get a job. So he only had 6.75 ERA in 5 1/3 innings, and with 6 punchies, what a 1.5 whip in spring. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, really, we're gonna go with this guy over Ryan Yarbrough, who was serviceable with the Jays when he was traded over to the Jays for Kevin Kiermaier last season. And even though he only maxes out at like 79 miles per hour, No, I mean, he gives us length in that bullpen, and that what that does is he also gives Yariel Rodriguez. He'll be that guy to like use his full like arsenal when he comes out of bullpen. He doesn't really have to be relied on for providing a lot of length, and he's excelled in that relief role when he was in Japan with the Chinichi Dragons. So I would have loved to see that, but at the same time, I guess I get it because we already have two lefties in that pen, and Dick.
Dickey
Richard Lovelady. Yeah. Richard
Dick
Lovelady
made the
and Brendan
team.
Little.
Dickey
Oh, yeah.
Lovelady.
Yeah.
What a
No,
name.
it's I can't wait for that City Connect Dick Lovelady jersey. That first one I see in the
You
crowd
gonna
is going to
buy
be
it?
unbelievable. Oh, when I can afford one, absolutely. Yeah, that would be awesome. But yeah, there was the decision to let Yarbrough walk, excuse me, wasn't taken very kindly on Twitter from what I've seen anyway. But he signed for the exact same amount he would have got with the Jays with the Yankees. So it's not like it wasn't. It was just a straight up. They didn't want him. They decided to go a different direction, and I think Christian, you nailed it on the head. The Yariel length already in there, and the fact that lefties were in abundance, not in abundance, if you will. Like it's just kind of because Sandlin is a reverse splits guy. He's going to absolutely dominate lefties as well. So the need for Yarbrough kind of fell off when Dick and Brandon Little showed that they can make it up.
I would
And then the
assume
Scherzer news too. Yeah.
the
Yeah,
whole thought was down to Yarbrough and Dickey, right? Because just you got a handful of injuries with the
I'd
righties,
say
like Swanson,
Barnes.
Bob Wright,
Yeah,
Barnes. I think he only pitched like 10 innings in 2021 for the Jays. Like
yeah.
he wasn't here for a lot, but um, didn't pitch well. But he's a journeyman. He's been around, right?
Mm,
You have to be decent if you're gonna stick around for that long, right? Like, sorry to go back to
yeah.
football. Laquan Treadwell's in his 10th year in the NFL, so who knows? But
No,
like, you got to do
that's a
something, right? So
great
like,
pull.
yeah, it's like Jacob Barnes. I think he's just here till Swanson is ready. Apparently, he's the closest out of the injured relievers. I think Keegan said that yesterday or today. So
Which
you
is
just
good to
have,
hear.
yeah, just a nice veteran.
Yeah, as far as the rest of the bullpen goes, you got Pop and Ryan Burr still
That's
recovering as well with
Ryan Burns
Swanson.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning that Pop is out of options, and so is Tommy Nance. So those are going to be interesting decisions that factor in as we roll through the first weeks as well, depending on who's looking good, who's healthy, etc. But the rotation is another piece of good news that we can look for. Max Scherzer is going to be good to go for his opening turn through the rotation. He's going to go third on Saturday against Charlie Morton. So it'll be a blast from the past there with that.
Oh,
What's
With
the
that,
combined age in those two? Like 80?
oh,
Scherzer's 40. What's Charlie
yeah.
Morton?
it's in the 70s, that's for sure. But it'll be an interesting duel on the mound on the Saturday matinee. I think it's at 3 o'clock against the O's at the Sky Dome.
I
So
could confirm it. It's in the 80s, 81.
So
Morton is
81.
41 and Scherzer
Morton
is
is
40.
41. I thought he was 38,
I thought he was
38,
like
39, but
38. So like
yeah.
almost
Well, I
80.
thought Morton was going to retire 5 years ago when he was with the Astros, and he was contemplating whether he wanted to continue pitching, and now he's still here. Good for him,
That's
though.
crazy. Yeah, that'll be a fun one to watch from I'm definitely going to be there at that one. I won't be able at the first two because I'll be working, but I'll be at the Saturday one for my opening day. So I'm excited to see
Nice.
Scherzer take the ball
At
in
least
person.
they dodge Gunner. I guess that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gunner. I feel horrible, right? I don't want anyone to be injured, but
No, Gunnar
I'll
Henderson
have to face Gunner.
will not be ready to go for the O's on opening day. He still battling through that injury that he got leaping for. It was a play it short. I can't remember if he made the catch now, honestly, but he went up for it. And when he came down, he was in a lot of pain. So
Yeah.
it's a fluke
Seems like
injury
it's
that
going to be
he's
yeah, it seems like it's going to be a very brief stint. Like once he gets eligible, he's going to be coming out. So yeah, definitely I didn't like that because Gunner is such a a promising player, and he's an exciting talent to watch. He's probably one of the best players in all of baseball. So definitely don't like that, even though it definitely favors the Jays going into this series.
Yeah, no, it's just not great for the game when premier players are hurt, especially with
Yeah.
the Mookie Betts situation is still ongoing. He's now it's reported that he's at 150 pounds, which is insane.
Insane.
If the first home run he hits this year, I'm going to be this guy was 150 pounds in March. Like, what are we doing here? Like, yeah, it's undiagnosed stomach issue. He picked up in Japan, still fighting through it. Won't be ready for their opening day, their second opening day. But yeah, it's definitely something to watch if you have him on your fantasy team. I don't. You better pray it's gonna get fixed soon.
Yeah, but
Yeah, he lost a lot of power. I mean, he's gonna have to try to get that back through like some fitness programs, and it's definitely not a quick one. It's not quick recovery. Getting back to pristine condition, and despite losing that many pounds, it's gonna be a tough battle.
Yeah, he's probably gonna have to go through a whole other kind of spring regime almost.
Yeah.
But the rest of the opening day or the rest of the opening series matchups, I'll read them off here. We got Barrios and Eflin on opening day, Gosman and G-Rod on Friday, Scherzer and Morton, which we already talked about, for Saturday, and Bassett and Kramer, which I am pretty sure it's going to be Dean Kramer on Sunday for the O's. They just signed Kyle Gibson to a 1-year contract after he took a year off, and they also have Sugano from Japan. He's a 35-year-old rookie, first year in the bigs. So can you imagine if we have a 35-year-old rookie of the year this year? I don't know if it's very possible that he's going to be in the conversation, but it would be hilarious.
That would be pretty funny.
And that would be.
Who's the fastest Googler? What's the oldest rookie?
I think I searched that up when he signed. I think he would be the oldest. Just fact check that, Zach. But that would be hilarious if he actually wins and somehow we don't get a guy like Cam Smith or who's a top runner for the AL right now for Rookie of the Year. But like if you didn't get those guys and it's Sugano, that'd be something bad would happen.
In 1950, Sam Jethro with the Boston Braves was 33 years old. More recently,
that's from 1950.
I know. Yeah, I was gonna say more recently, another Japanese rookie, Kazuhiro Sasaki, with the Mariners in 2000. He was 32.
Okay.
So he would definitely
be the oldest.
Yeah, I want to go back to. We just completely skipped over like probably the biggest news of the week, but all the pitchers, the guy they're going to be throwing to, Mr. Kirky.
Yes, we have to get to that.
The bag. 5 years, 58 mil.
58 mil for a 5-year extension that kicks in 2026. What a steal.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's defense is worth that alone.
Yeah.
So we've got his WAR. I'm going to look it up for the last, I believe it's up past 8 last season. But just for his defense alone, we're paying 11 a year. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, one of the premier defenders at his position for sure. And even this season, there's still some potential with his bat just because he provides so much contact and he has such a good eye for that strike zone just from like his defensive skills. So, and I believe Trey Popkins, the new hitting coach for the Jays, he kind of touted and he gave praise to Kirk for his bat. So, and if you're gonna get that praise from a new hitting coach that just joined in, then there's something telling about that. So, but yeah, if you just look at compare how much he's being paid compared to other catchers in the bigs, and you just factor everything in, it seems like a steal for sure. And it's great business. Catchers like Kirk doesn't really grow on trees. And the fact that the Jays didn't really have a promising catching prospect in their organization, I think it's definitely great business to actually lock him up for his foreseeable future.
Yeah, so I just looked it up. He's up. I'm sorry, Evan. He's up past 10 WAR now on his career. He went into last year with just under 8, and he's up to 10.2 now. So he's 4 years now, and 10 WAR. You're getting 2.5 WAR a year for 11 mil. You're taking that every time, assuming he stays on a consistent pace. He could get better. He could get worse, but.
Well, maybe he goes back to the 2022 form where everyone just decided to be amazing, right? Was that the same year Espinal was an all-star?
Yeah, that was Santiago Espinal is a all-star, was one of the
funniest things I've ever
most random things you could have told somebody on opening day that they
took an Altuve injury.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, Turkey hit 285 that year.
Yeah, I just looked it up, and it was 2022 for Espinal.
Yeah,
like Tyler Huntley making the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, like literally same thing.
I've stopped referring to NFLers as Pro Bowlers because it means nothing anymore. Like if someone tells me they were a Pro Bowler past 2019, it's like, it's cool.
Who cares?
I don't care.
The same that there needs to be a representative from every team. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal as well.
What are we
Who was the Jays? I'm trying to think. Jays rep last year it was Vladdy, was it?
Probably.
We had more than one.
Yeah, it was Vladdy.
I'm gonna Google it real quick. Jays All Stars 2024.
Right,
yeah, it was just Vladdy. It was. I thought we only had one. It was only Vlad.
Yeah.
The year before that, it was Berrios.
2022 was what? Vlad, Poe, KO, Semyon, everyone.
We had a ton.
I don't know. All-star games are.
I'd say of all the All-Star games, though, I'd still MLB's is the one I tune into.
In terms of the game itself, for sure.
Yeah, it's the one I've tuned into the most consistently every year. Look, I look forward to it. I would say I do look forward to it. The Home Run Derby. I mean, I love the old format a lot better, but the new one is still exciting.
Yeah, no.
The Chris Herman, the Berman backs always hits. So
legend.
Yeah, still going back to Kirk. I'm very, very pleased with that contract. I think it's the third big extension that Shapiro and Atkins have given out. Right?
Yeah.
Barrios and was it Bo's 3-year deal? Is that the other one?
Yeah, Bose is technically just an Arab avoider, so I wouldn't really count that.
There was one more that I'm completely blanking on. Barrios
extension-wise would be...
Good look into that.
There's 3 that they've given out, and I completely am blanking.
We've got the Google fingers flying here.
Yeah, I'm looking into that now because it's going to kill me if I don't find out. I stumbled upon a tweet. Now I can't find it. But anyways, yeah, let's continue going on, though.
It was Randall.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, the 5-year deal that did not age well.
Randall.
Yeah, that was that. You don't want to why? You want to know why we couldn't remember it? Because it was Randall, and we blocked it out of our minds. That's crazy. For anyone for anyone at home that doesn't know who we're referencing, Randall Grichuk from the former St. Louis Cardinal, we acquired and then re-signed.
Was
tragically.
He 1 pick before Trout or 1 pick? Yeah, right? Or 1 pick after Trout?
I honestly don't remember.
There's a whole draft thing with Grichuk and Trout.
Because Mike Trout was a pretty late pick. Yeah, he was 1 pick before. 24th overall was Randall Grichuk. 25th overall was Mike Trout. Here's some crazy names that also went before Mike Trout. Steven Strasburg makes sense. Zach Wheeler, he was 1, yeah. Wheeler 6 makes sense. AJ Pollock,
stacked draft.
That's tough. Shelby Miller. These are all serviceable big leaguers that you'd love on your team, but over Mike Trout is. Yeah, Kyle Gibson was also just 2 picks before Mike Trout. What a crazy arc that man's had over his career.
Yeah, that's how you know you're down bad as an org when you're like, wow, we really need a lefty bat. Here's Randall Grichuk, give us a Raimel Tapia in return.
Yeah. That was tough.
That's bad. Except he had that inside the park in Fenway.
Yeah.
When they scored 20 whatever runs.
He'll go down in history for that.
That was cool. So other than that, didn't provide much. But thanks, Randall, for your service. We appreciate it here.
Honestly, I was a fan.
As a Blue Jay.
Despite the fact that he was overpaid, I was a fan. Because
I loved him as a person.
Yeah.
I always thought he was going to do better here. I don't know why. He was older. I just had a lot of hope for that deal at the time, and it was false hope.
We're going.
What was that?
If we find out who we gave up for him.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah,
we're talking about that deal with the Cardinals when we picked him up from the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Or what was it with the Angels?
Cards.
Oh no, so he started with the Cards. No, he went from the Angels, then went to the Cardinals, I think.
No,
we traded Dominic Leone and Connor Green.
Dominic Leone.
Oh, Connor Green. Yeah, he was supposed to be a decent prospect, and he didn't really pan out at all.
Randall was not actually that bad. I mean, he hit over minus I'm taking out the 2020 COVID year. He hit over 20 bombs in every other season. In 2019, he played in 151 games, hit 232, which is not good, with a 280 OBP. But he had 31 bombs and 80 RBIs. It's not too bad.
I mean, considering the two prospects we gave up never turned into nothing, it's probably something you live with. But
yeah, 20.
Yeah, we got to get. I think we have to dig ourselves out of this Randall Grichuk hole we found ourselves in. What do you guys got for predictions for the AL playoffs? This one has been one of the tougher years to predict, I feel like. I know, Christian, you got some future bets. You love them futures.
Yeah. I'm going to start with the AL East. Everyone's going to probably guess the Yankees or maybe the Orioles. The Yankees, they have so many injuries. It's going to be tough for them to bounce back from, unfortunately. And then you also lose Soto. I mean, Jason Dominguez, he's going to probably have a pretty decent rookie year. So I don't think it's going to be Yankees. I think they still have a lot of upside, but I don't think it'll be them. I think they'll take a step back after losing Corbin Burns and losing Grayson Rodriguez to start the season, who's going to be on IL. So I'm going to go with the Red Sox. And the reason why I'm going with the Red Sox, I project them for around 93 to 95 wins. And getting Garrett Crochet, getting a bona fide ace in our rotation, along with having guys like Lucas Giolito and having guys like now Walker Buehler as well, who's also an addition. He had a great playoffs with the Dodgers. And yeah, I think that rotation's legit, even though there's some injuries right now to start the season. Once they get everyone back healthy, that's going to be a stacked rotation with a lot of depth. So, and that's going to be key for them to be able to carry their way through this tough division. And you have, on top of adding Bregman, who's going to benefit in that ballpark with the Green Monster, because he's also not just a slap hitter, but he knows how to pull the ball as well and use that Green Monster to his leverage, considering that he had those Crawford boxes when he was in Houston. So that's going to be beneficial. Then you're going to have Devers to not play third base anymore. He was a nuisance playing third. So having a premier defender at third is going to be definitely a plus. And you're going to have another year of Jarren Duran coming off that amazing rookie year. And that team is really young. So Christian Campbell, he's a candidate to win Rookie of the Year. He just broke camp. He just cracked the opening day roster. He's probably going to be playing some second base. And then Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer, both of those two guys, they're absolute studs that could also make an impact on his team. So I just think everything is going the Red Sox way right now. The only concern I have is their bullpen situation. Aroldis Chapman is going to be their closer to start the year. If it's not him, it's going to be Liam Hendricks. So besides from that, I think the Red Sox are primed to actually win this division.
Yeah, Devers finally stood down, eh?
Yeah. Took a while. It was
I expected the eventual outcome. I just wondered how messy it would get. It didn't get that messy after all. He just kind of was like,
kind of disappointing as a
yeah, it
Jays
was
fan.
pretty disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to have a little more spice to it.
Yeah, I kind of think the Yankees are just inevitable. They're always going to be the Yankees. I feel like they'll come out on top. I have Christian. I know you share a similar sentiment, but I have the Rangers taking the top spot in the AL this year. They're
I
hopefully
agree.
healthy, and they won the World Series 2 years ago. So they got the Burger Man at first now. Semyon, Seager. Don't know who they have at third. Probably like Ezekiel.
Josh Young.
Oh yeah, Josh Young, my fantasy star last year. Missed
Yeah.
Ezekiel Duran
Yeah.
somewhere there. Wyatt Langford. Give me the Rangers. I also am a fan of young teams. I have the Red Sox making the playoffs too. I think they're very good. I have the Jays because this is Blue Jays podcast, and then Royals and Tigers. I have in the playoff race. I love me the young teams. Casey Mize looks great.
He
I think.
does.
What's the other kid's name? The other pitcher? I'm blanking on.
Reese Olson
Yes, thank you.
and Jackson Jobe.
Jackson Jobe. There we go. Yeah, I like the way their rotation's looking. They're I think going to build off last year, and then the Royals are the Royals. Kind of came out of left field last year and played really well. And you have Bobby Witt, so they're like
Bobby.
the lead to the promised land.
And now he gets a legit leadoff hitter as well in Jonathan India. That's going to be an underrated acquisition. And we'll see when Jack Caglione makes this team. Maybe
Guys
in
been raking.
July. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of differed from you guys a little bit on the AL Central. I went with Kansas for my pick. I like what they did last year. I'm a big Bobby Witt guy. Like, I think he's a legitimate shot at MVP, especially if they win the division. I think he's probably going to have a big role in that. In their rotation, as I'm taking another look at it here, like it's still kind of
Cole Reagan.
patchwork. Yeah, it's like patchwork with free agent money, and they did a great job last year, and it worked, and they had that great run. But they still have a good core here with Reagans, Lugo, and Waka, the top three. So I feel like a trade away from having a solid rotation to really solidify them as a division contender. But the Tigers are like you just nailed it. Like they're sneaky young, sneaky good. I think they could get hot, and they could be a tough team to beat down the stretch. I would put money on that probably as well. But I'm tossed up in the AL East. It's going to be. I'm confident the Jays can fight for a wild card. I'm going to pick them for one. I'm going to pick the Yankees to miss the playoffs, and I'm also going to pick the Rays to miss the playoffs. But I don't know between Baltimore and Boston who's going to take the top and who's going to take the other wild card spot. I just can't. I can see Boston right now. I'm picking Boston right now, but I feel that Baltimore can win my heart over in a couple weeks. Like once I see that their rotation is fine, they added Kyle Gibson. That doesn't move the needle for me, but they'll probably have to make a trade. Like if they add Sandy, oh my goodness, that's a division winner right there. I really feel like they had that true ace at the top to go with Eflin. So I'm going to take Boston. I'm going to lock in Boston just because I'm not sold on the rotation in Baltimore. And then Texas is my other pick there. That rotation, again, is shaping to be pretty dangerous with Jack Leader now. He's here. Coomer Rocker. Like, those guys are going to be really, really fun to watch. We're going to have Texas Rangers games on our screens when those guys are pitching for sure. And you have DeGrom, which, I mean, it's a long shot, but it's Jacob DeGrom, and I'll bet on Jacob DeGrom before I won't. So it's going to be interesting to see how Texas goes.
Imagine being Jack Leiter. I mean, obviously you have Mark Leiter in your family. You can kind of learn from him, but you're in a rotation with DeGrom, right? Just learning from him, both touching 100 with the fastball. I don't know about DeGrom anymore, but Jack Leiter threw like 4 consecutive 100-mile-an-hours the other day.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Coomer is right at the top of velo as well. Like he's in there chucking absolute bombs. So it's going to be a fun rotation to watch and not one you're going to want to run into in a playoff series.
Yeah, can't forget about my boy Nathan Eovaldi as well. And
That's
Tyler
right.
Mahoney.
Yep,
So
that's right.
you also have some
That's a
young.
good rotation.
They
That's
could
a
also
good
add from the
rotation.
rotation too during the deadline as well. And like you said with the Orioles as well, they just have Kobe May just rotting in AAA. I
Mhm.
mean, he hasn't really proven anything this spring. So this guy's
Mhm.
complaining about how he did everything he could to make the team. I mean, your stats say otherwise, but again, like he still has a lot of
Ah, bang.
yeah. No, but he said like he still has a lot of value that he could get for a starting pitcher like Sandy, for example.
Absolutely.
Um,
They
They
already
had
swung
the
one trade last year for Trevor Rogers, or
Oh, that
yeah,
was a stupid trade. Jesus, that's
Trevor.
it's trades like that where it's like, why would you do that? And it might cost you an extra year of contention because Trevor Rogers, he just hasn't been it. He's not that guy right now. But no, like the Orioles, they just lack a replacement for Coburn Burns. That's what it comes down to for me. But they
Mhm.
have so much upside. They have so much potential, and they also brought back in the outfield walls from it used to be crazy how far back those outfield walls were, and then now they're bringing it back in. So it's only going to benefit those right-handed bats like Jordan Westberg and
Ryan
yeah,
Mountcastle, noted
Ryan
J.
Mountcastle. Exactly.
it was Connor Norby they traded for Rogers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's they have another one down there waiting to fire off again for I think it's gonna take a pretty big package to get Sandy. And they have to wait to see if he's healthy too, but
To
it'll
be
be
fair,
interesting. So
like in their defense, it's hard to replace a guy like Corbin, right? But
oh
like
yeah,
you're them, like how do you replace Corbin and his disgusting sinker? You go get Sandy and his disgusting sinker.
it's very true. I think we've nailed all of our picks. I see Christian's got the Astros though. Tell me why you think the Astros are gonna make the wild card team or the wild
Yeah.
card race.
Yeah, well, I mean, that team they still have a pretty good rotation despite the fact that there's still injuries. But yeah, you still have Framber leading that rotation. And then you also you're still having like pieces from that team that consistently made the playoffs and made deep runs in the playoffs, like Jordan Alvarez. I mean, we'll see how Jose Altuve looks at left field. It hasn't looked pretty. Eventually he's gonna find his way, considering that you're playing at the Crawford boxes and you don't really have that much real estate left. But we'll see how that goes. But I do like what they're doing. I like the fact that they're making Cam Smith, who could be a bona fide stud. He has A+ power. He could be that he does look like a right-handed Yordan Alvarez kind of. So that's gonna be a team that is exciting to see. And then to round up my rest of my playoffs, I also have the Tigers coming out of the AL Central. And for my wild cards teams, it's gonna be the Astros. It's gonna be the Yankees, and I also could see the Orioles making it as well. Unfortunately, I know I didn't have the Blue Jays, but it is what it is. Sorry.
We needed someone to not pick them around here so we don't look like Roger Shrill. But uh, before we get out of here, really fast, over or under 82 wins, Blue Jays?
Over.
81 wins, so I go under. Sorry.
Under. I'm going to say over, but if it's over, it's by the skin of their teeth. So it's going to be right there. I think Projections is doing a great job with that. All right, that's all we've got for us here today. We'll be back again next week. Ian will join us, and we'll have opening series to talk about. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll catch you next time.